Welcome to Business on the Vine. I'm your host, Lady Jen Duplessis, and in this dynamic series, we dive into the challenges, breakthroughs, and victories of entrepreneurs who have turned their passion into success. Welcome. So we're happy to have you on the show, and welcome to everybody listening. Thank you so much for listening, and welcome to Business on the Vine. I have a different vineyard in my background today. I'm so excited because we're heading to beautiful wine country here in Virginia where I live, and we're doing some actual shows and not podcasts of Business on the Vine. And as the weather gets nicer, we're hoping the vines will be all, they're supposed to be growing. They've got a few more weeks. They got to start popping there so we can be out there. But yeah, we're excited about it. So I won't have to have a funky background. I'll have an actual background here shortly. But I just want to take this moment to introduce you and welcome to the show and let everybody know who you are. We're sitting here talking to Tony Stubbs, and I'm really excited about this conversation. We've wanted to have it for a while. I kind of chased you. And then you were like, you caught me. No, you didn't. You caught me. No, you didn't. So we've now.
Well, this time you caught me and I'm here. So
yeah, that's what's important, right? So
yes.
Let me tell everybody a little bit about you. Imagine having a coach who's been through it all, grit, glory, and transformation. As a former pro athlete, Tony is now a certified personal trainer and weight loss specialist. And he doesn't just focus on training bodies, he focuses and inspires on minds and builds confidence. So I'm, just delighted. I think the important thing about businesses is that we all have such unique businesses. And once in a while, I run across one where I'm like, that's a business? Wow. Tell me more about it. Right. But I love what you're doing because you're doing something that I have to giggle a little bit. I'm going to let you giggle about this, but a little funny about the 7 minutes, right? So I'm sure you know about this, right? But what I love is that you're helping people through true transformation using movement, right? It's all about the movement. I've not once ever heard you say, you got to work out, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I know there's aspects in that. But for the busy business owner, let's stay with business, right? For the busy business owner who sits in front of these cockamamie computers all day long, and I'm guilty. Now I have a vibration plate next to me that in between calls I hop on.
Okay. Well,
right. So I'm like,
you are definitely ahead of the game. So
right. So I hop on that, and I'm like,
okay.
at least getting movement and getting vibrated. And I'm like, whoa, I'm ready to go. To go. And then we walk all the time, we're big walkers and stuff. And I'm a dancer, so I dance. But especially when I'm sitting here, it's like I got to get some blood going into my ankles and all that stuff. So for the busy person who's stuck in front of their computer, that's first. Let's talk about that. Then we'll talk about some travelers, because we were just talking about that in the green room, right?
Yes.
Tell us about why this is so important. As a professional athlete, there's a lot of athletes that don't continue to work out. They're like, thank God, not doing that again. What is compelling you to keep the world healthy?
Oh, well, that's a great question. And thank you for having me on the show. I am honored and privileged to be here. And like you said, you was chasing after me, and you finally caught up with me, because I do believe, everything's all about timing and nothing is a coincidence, and everything happens for a reason. And that's why we're here today. So, man, the reason I do this is because I've just seen throughout the years of my life, and I mean, just me personally, just having to go through certain things when it comes to my health, and just overall, just with your body, and making choices of which way do you want to go? Do you want to go right or go left? There's no in between. And just from me just being born, just a year into me being born, I had spinal meningitis. So that right there was a testament right there that I knew that I'm here for a reason once I had learned what was going on with me then. Then, of course, me just being involved in just physical activities just throughout my life. My parents actually let me be a kid. And outside was pivotal in my life. It was so pivotal to the point where if I got in trouble, my parents had to punish me from outside. Okay.
Right. Oh,
So
yeah.
I was that kid. I finished my homework and I want to go outside and play. Like, don't
Wow.
get me
Yeah.
wrong, I had the Nintendos and all the little games, but
Yeah.
outside was where it's at. I wanted to be around my friends, and I just loved physical activity. So that just transpired throughout my whole entire life, when especially when I got to high school, really focusing on, okay, football was an
Mhm.
actual sport that I really loved, but my parents wouldn't let me play until I got to high school. So I didn't start playing tackle football until my
Wow. So
freshman
yeah,
year.
so you're like behind the eight ball from all the peewees and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So now I played 2 years of flag, but it's not the same like the Pee Wee football
Right.
where they've been tackling, been going at it since maybe
Right.
6, 7 years old.
Hmm.
So me just learning that, just the whole nine of just the team when it comes to the football aspect, and just having a gift that I really didn't know I had until I started playing it and really started taking it seriously. Like, I could actually get a scholarship for playing this sport. So once I locked in and made a decision, like, you know what, I want to give back to my parents. My parents have done so much for me. I know money will never amount to what they have done. So I said, what is one big thing I could really do to give back to them? I said, you know what, let me try to get me a scholarship somewhere so they don't have to pay for my school
That's
for
a
me to go
unique
anywhere.
way of thinking of that, Tony. It really is, because most kids aren't going to be thinking about that. They might be thinking about playing a sport for ego,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And maybe
yes.
that was there too, because our son played, college ball, and so
Mhm.
it's like that ego. But I know he wasn't going, let me work even harder to get a scholarship so mom and dad don't have to pay for anything.
Yeah, I just don't know where it came from, but I just knew that. So, well, I do know where it came from because my parents wanted me to go to school.
Yeah,
Period.
yeah.
And
They're
wanted
like,
me
you're
to,
going to
get a good.
school, and either we're going to work hard or you're going to work hard.
Right. And I had only two choices. I either had to go to the school where my mom graduated from. That was Florida A&M University. Don't get me wrong, a great school.
Right.
However, I wanted to pick where I wanted to go. Now, if I had decided I want to go there, then yes. But however, with football, it took me to different places. I
Yeah.
was able to see different colleges and experience
Yeah.
what it was all about and be able to choose what school I was able to go to. And I had
Yeah.
chose the University of Kansas. Well, the
Yeah.
Jayhawks, that's where I actually got my scholarship, and I played there from 2000 to 04. So
Yeah.
from there, the crazy part about that was after all this happened, me working hard, the third day that I got up into college, my freshman year, okay, I had to have emergency surgery on both of my legs.
Oh my gosh. So now wait a minute.
Yes,
Hold on. Let me just get back up a little bit. So the spinal meningitis, what had happened to that? And do you still
okay.
have that? Is it dormant? Like, let's talk about that too before we get to what you got to have surgery on your legs.
Yes. So that happened when I was one. It was some type another emergency surgery, but I have no complications. I have
Oh, good.
nothing
Okay.
along of
Good, good,
what
good.
pertained
Yeah.
to that. So I'm very grateful that they did whatever they did, because they literally went through my ankle down there to do whatever they did, and from there, I know I'm just a testimony of I'm supposed to be here. So
Right, right,
yes,
right.
yes.
Okay, so now you have to have surgery on two legs 3 days in. What happened?
Well, I believe what happened was is because I'm originally from Florida, born and raised, and see down in Florida you have grass. You don't have the different types of turf or whatever. Normally you're playing in grass. So the whole
Right.
time I've been playing in grass, never had a shin issue, no
Uh,
leg problems whatsoever. Where I might have been like, okay, let me be careful or be aware
yeah,
that this might happen. So going
yeah,
up to the University of Kansas, having all this new stuff, new turf, like the turf was different then. It was more hard than it is because it's a lot softer now because they have all
right.
this rubbery stuff that they put in. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
different back then. So I believe me running on that hard turf, I'm just thinking it's just regular, shins, legs a little sore from running, really going
it's
hard because, the
college.
college anticipation, making
Right.
sure that I'm one of the ones that they're paying attention to. Because off top, when you come into an environment like that and you're the freshman, you
Oh
want to
yeah,
make a statement.
yeah,
So by doing that, I guess I made a little statement to my legs
yeah.
to the point where they were hurting so bad that they woke me up out my sleep.
Oh
Okay.
wow, 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 wow. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
Like, I don't know who I was on. I got off the phone. I went to sleep, and I mean, it literally just popped me up out of my sleep. And I said to myself, what is wrong with my legs? Kept me up the whole entire night to the
Wow.
point where, thank God it did, because in the morning we usually have to check in for breakfast. Okay. Everybody has to check in. I literally had to tell the coach, I said, Coach, I have to skip breakfast. I said, I don't know what's wrong with my legs, but I need to get to the training room now. And it was so bad to the point I could feel nothing in my legs. Like you could
Oh, wow.
literally swing a baseball bat at my legs
You wouldn't have
and
known.
I wouldn't have felt it, like they were numb. The trainers didn't even know how I was even walking. Okay.
Wow.
I said that
Wow.
was only by the grace of God, because I just came here because my legs are hurting. So they had this big needle, this long, about
Oh,
maybe about that thick. Okay. So the swelling for anterior compartment syndrome is a 35 max. Okay. My right leg was a 75 and my
oh,
left leg was a 70. So my
wow.
legs were about to blow. Okay. So
Wow.
the
Wow.
doctor was like, all right, you have a couple of choices. You can either A, just wait this thing out, let your muscles die and never walk again, or you can have surgery. I said, let me think about this, doc. This is going to be a tough decision.
Right.
Okay.
Surgery. Now.
Talking about never walking again. Yeah, I want to have surgery. And I just got to college. So you can just imagine what's going
Oh,
through
yeah.
my head.
All the stuff.
A lot of stuff. So,
I'm
and my
surprised you
parents
ended up
had just
still
left too.
playing. Yeah. Oh, wow. They had just left. And of course, they're
Just
flying down
left.
to Florida, right?
That literally, while my parents were
Oh,
flying, they get a phone call about, oh, I'm having emergency surgery. So of course my mom's like, do you want me to come back up there? And I had to make another decision. Do I
yeah.
want to be pampered and because I know my mama gonna take care of me, or is this one of those moments where I gotta be like, all right, well, I'm not gonna always have my parents. So
Right.
I took it as, okay, this is a man type of thing. I'm gonna have to learn how to that work,
Man up, buddy.
figure
Right.
it, like I'm gonna have to figure it out on my own
Yeah.
because they're not gonna
Yeah.
always be there for me. So I took it as that. And I said, no, stay there. And that's how I got to where I got to today with still playing football as well, because I was so determined to play that nothing wasn't going to stop me. I just didn't know what was going to come next, but I just made sure that I did the necessary things so I could get it on the football field.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. I'm listening to you and I'm saying, gosh, there's diversity and we all have diversity, right? We come with baggage. All of us have some kind of story from our childhood that, brings us here and all that stuff. Um, Tell us a little bit about how you manage diversity, because as business owners, we are encountering, this constant, challenge to be resilient, the diversity of what's going on around us, right? Or adversity, I guess is the word. Is that the word instead of diversity?
Yeah, adversity. Yeah,
Sorry, didn't mean
adversity.
diversity. I meant adversity.
That's
We're
all right.
having challenge. Let's use a real word, right? Like we all have these challenges that are just like, as soon as it's done, here comes another. And as soon as it's done, here comes another. How do you handle that in your business?
Woo, that's another great question, because just along the lines of the mindset of
Yeah,
doing it and
just do it.
people knowing that you need to do it. That's the most thing. Like everybody knows they need to do some type of movement, but
Yeah,
for whatever reason, other things get in the way, or we have our reasons and our challenges of whatever happened, kids, whatever reason it is. I don't call it an excuse. I just call it a reason. If that's your reason, listen. One thing we don't do here, we don't judge. We accept
yeah,
everybody for where they are and where they want to go. It's
yeah.
just trying to figure out how can we, in your mind, put over here that you need to put at least 7 minutes for yourself. That's the key
Really
to
good.
all of this, because
Okay, okay. Yeah, because I was talking about 7-minute abs, right? Okay,
yes,
so
yes.
let's get real clear on this, because I know you're going to talk about 7 minutes as it relates to movement and physical activity. But in business, we need that 7 minutes to move, right? Everyone
Yes.
talks about moving the needle in your business, and we get so trapped in the hustle of everything. I talk about hustle to harmony all the time. It's like we're in
Mm.
that constant hustle, 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 and that's akin to the physical movement. So in business, do you apply that same thing? You're like, okay, you know what, I am now playing on the computer instead of working and moving the needle for my business. I need to take a 7-minute break. Now you're combining it with something else, but let's talk about just the business piece and not the physical piece. Would you recommend that that's what someone does? that same
And
strategy of,
it is so funny you're saying it, because that's the same exact strategy.
yeah,
And it's actually difficult to take that aspect out of what you're saying, take it out of the physical side, because guess what? For me to take a break, guess what I got to do?
you got to
I got to
move
move.
physically. And I know you're going to get there. I'm going to say, you're going to say kill two birds with one stone, because
Yes,
really with the vibration plate, that's what I'm doing. I didn't even know it. But by the way, it sets for 15 minutes and I stay on it long enough for my next call. So
yes.
it's everywhere, right? It's
That,
all over the place.
that's
But without
you,
even knowing it wasn't intentional.
right.
Right.
But you literally, and it's so funny when you said that. I'm like, oh, well, you're beating out just about everybody here just by you having that vibrational plate, because you're actually getting on that plate and you're actually standing and you doing all this.
Right. And
It's
I'm
like you
taking, and it goes all these crazy levels. And
all,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's healthy blood flow. Like, you're not realizing what you've been doing to your body this whole time, and it's perfect because just in my business, like, I take 7 minutes for myself. If I've been going in and I'm like, my eyes are, and I'm like, yep, it means it's time
yeah,
for me to move, because especially if my body's doing all this and I'm stretching, I'm trying to find that little comfortable spot. That means it's time for you to get up and move around and do something else for a few
yeah,
minutes and then get back to what you're doing. So
yeah,
those 7 minutes, I for the mind especially, that's why I say mental
yeah.
or physical activity of some type of 7 minutes, and especially when it pertains to your business, because you're locked in.
Well, you're just
You
hitting
ready?
your head against the wall, right? And it's like, I'm not
Yes.
getting anywhere. And I need to, change my environment, change my mindset, change everything about. Okay. Yeah. I love it. Well, isn't that cool? We stumbled upon that. And I know you're going to talk about what can we do in those 7 minutes. I want to talk just back a little bit about business. So how, you were saying, oh, I'm stretching and I'm feeling a little achy, I'm trying to get organized. Is that the awareness that we need to have of, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
fidgeting equals go get some fitness, right? Or fidgeting equals take a break from the computer, rest my eyes, maybe it's sitting for 7 minutes. But how do we
Yes.
increase the awareness of that when we're not recognizing the physical piece? Like, sometimes I'll work really, really hard. And when I stand up, then I go, oh my God, right? I
Mm.
didn't realize it until I moved. How can we increase that awareness that we're in a tranche in our business and we're not able to move? The decision to put something on social media, the decision to hire someone, the decision to write an email, to make a connection. How can we increase the awareness if we're not aware of our physical
Right.
situation? And then we're going to talk about how do we get awareness of our physical.
I, it's up here.
Yeah, of course
Just
it is.
about with everything
Yeah,
is making the decision to be more aware and being in tune with your body, because your body gives you signals all the time.
yeah,
We just choose to ignore them.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So
Mhm.
when you're more in tune with your body, you start recognizing certain things where, like you say, if you're feeling a little achy, if you're fidgety, or if you're moving around too much, that's you being aware, like, oh, you know what? I need to get up. Because sometimes I do the same thing. I be trying to finish up and I be, I'm like, ugh. And then I'm saying to myself, up here I go trying to find that comfortable spot. Let me get up, because that's my
Yeah,
body is telling me to move. It's just like with your car. Your car gives you signs all the time. Like
right.
when you need to get that oil change, some people change their oil better than they change their bodies and what they do with their bodies.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's because
And
there was a thing that bothered them. It went ding, 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 ding.
right.
Yeah,
Like, you need to go get this, or this happens, or if you don't do this, your engine might blow up. Now, I say the
right,
difference between that car and you is, see, I can't get another you. I can get another car with a whole nother engine, but
right,
you, it's only one and done. Because if your engine blows up, I can't really put a whole nother engine into you, because
right.
your body, mind, and soul is connected to that one piece. So
Yeah,
we are trying to make sure you're here as long as possible, for as long as you want to be here, because we don't know when we're going to go. However, if you're doing the necessary things to prolong it, because we all know we're going to die. We all know that.
yeah,
However, I don't want to die trying to figure out, oh my goodness, what surgery I'm about to have next, or what pill I'm gonna have to take, and all
right.
these bills. I don't want to live like that. I want to live like how I'm living right now, free, peaceful. Don't get me wrong. challenges happen to everybody every day, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to let me hold me down so much to the point I'm not going to move.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what my dad said? And by the way, my dad died this way, which is really good.
Mm,
It's really
mm.
good. He died the way that you're talking about, right? But
Oh,
he
okay.
he used to say, I don't want to rust out. I want to wear out.
Come on. Listen.
And that's what happened. He was walking and he had a massive heart attack and he died. Right.
Mm,
And he, that I don't want to rust out. And I'm
right.
afraid for all business owners, myself included, that this constant sitting and it has to be a
Yes.
Zoom call. Everything has to be a Zoom call. And I've now gotten to the point where, okay, I'll do my coaching calls on Zoom and I do my podcast on Zoom. But every other call needs to be a phone call. So I can get up and walk out in the lawn. I can walk through my house. I can clean my house while I'm talking to people.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And how important is this to what have you found? How important is physical fitness to and mindset? Obviously the mindset because it goes with it, but how important is that to success in
It's very important. I tell people it's one of the pivotal things to your business because it all stems back involving your business. How did you start the business? You had to go here, go there, move there. Like all the little things you're speaking of, those minor details of you just
yeah,
literally getting up, being on a phone call, you walking around. All these movements are important because if you wasn't able to do all these things beforehand to build the foundation for your business, you had to maybe go to a whole nother state. Maybe you had to drive somewhere. Like you have to have all these things intact for you to make it there. So you need to make sure you still have all these things to continue with your business. And that's where the self-care comes involved because it all comes together. Because guess what? I have to physically, I don't care where it is. I don't care if I work on this computer all day. I still have to get up. I still have to do certain things. I still have to go research. There's so many intricacies where for the business,
well,
I
if you're
have to
sick,
move.
yeah, so I'm hearing if you're sick, your business will become sick.
That's it. Point
Yeah.
blank period.
That
And
should
and
scare
who's ever
you listening here. That should scare you. That should
it
scare
should
you. If you get sick, your business is sick.
sick.
And you
And
not healthy makes your business not healthy.
mm, see, right there. So that's why I say it just all circulates into one movement because you have to move. And for you to
Yeah.
continue to do what you're doing, you need to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Well, I love what you're doing. I love that you're, continued the health, your health in through this because I look at, and I was an athlete too, but I look at athletes and they go to school, get a degree, right? So what's your degree in?
My degree is in sports management
Oh,
administration.
okay, it is a sports management administration, but maybe it's a doctor, maybe it's well, in my case, an architect, right? Maybe it's like all these crazy different things,
Right.
and we leave that world, and even as a professional, because you went on to play, professional. When you played professional, why is it that when people get out of playing a professional sport that they don't continue to, or what, I don't know how I want to ask this, why did
I already
you
know what you said.
continue? Yeah, why did you continue to stay on that path when others are like, and I said this in the beginning, I'm done, I don't want to do the physical thing anymore, but it's such a powerful, and I think this is what was attracted to me, Tony, is like, wow, there's a guy who played professional sports and he's still in that world, and it's very rare. That's why I
Yes.
picked up on that, right? Is like, it's very rare. Why don't people do that? Why do we not chase that passion, or why do we do that? I don't even know why this is an important question, but it just drives me
Oh,
nuts that more athletes aren't doing athletic things.
listen, we are on the same page, and I am so glad you asked me this because it's it's the hard work and dedication that has been down because you don't know how long these people have been training from 5 years
Right.
old to whatever age. So just
Yeah.
imagine every single day you're doing the same thing over and over 2 to 3 hours. So
Right.
you're so mentally locked in where you believe I, as an athlete, I have to at least put 2 or 3 hours in to get the results that I want to get. And that's where you have to flip the whole mindset after your athlete career is over with. Because I said to myself, I know I'm not going to be working out no 2-3 hours. It's not happening. Like
Right.
I'm done. Like I'm done. However, I had made a decision that I was not going to be that guy talking about, oh, my glory days. Look how I used to look 20 years ago. And then you look at me like, that's you? That's the same
Right,
person?
right. That's kind of like a
I
realtor. They have pictures of themselves, glamour shots from 10 years
yes.
ago, right?
Yes, I can put a picture up from 10 years ago and you'll be like, oh, okay, that is you. Because I decision, I did not want to be that guy because I knew in my head I didn't want to do the 2 to 3 hours. So what can I do? I can do at least 30 minutes. So all I did was just compress what I do
Right,
into
right.
just a shorter amount of time because I don't want to go 2 or 3 hours unless I'm competing for something or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But for me and just to live one, I wanted to look good. Like I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to look good because I just like the way how I looked. And then once I started adding health products to my life as well, it just made me look even better. So I was just like, why not? So after that, that's where it was like, okay, I don't always have 30 minutes. How about if I have 15, 20 minutes or 7 minutes? Because it got down to 7 minutes for me because my schedule was
7 minute
getting so
nap.
busy.
Right.
Yeah. So it got to the point where, okay, can I at least do 7 minutes? But a lot of people get locked in on, well, it's just 7 minutes, this and that. But I say, but you're
It's
not doing the 7 minutes now. So
right.
how do you know if it's not going to be effective or not when you're not doing anything? So I'm just saying 7 minutes because I tell people do some jumping jacks for 30 seconds. If you have not worked out or done anything in years or even a year or two, do 30 seconds of just jumping jacks and you let
Or
me know how you
marching.
feel after.
Just marching, something. Yeah. Okay. So I'm reading between the lines here and I'm applying this to business too, because I want to make sure it's
Come on.
business.
Yes, because it
Uh,
all applies.
because if you have this, I'm going to call it addictive behavior as an athlete, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I got to work out. But you transform that and take all these athletes and they go, now I'm going to take that addictive behavior and I'm just going to do the grind, right? I'm going to do the constant. What is it called when you go to that thing where they measure your time in
Oh, the
football?
combine. Mm-hmm.
Combine,
Mm-hmm.
grind combine,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
And so you're going through the combine of business, which is the
Right.
grind of your business. What's going to keep you from having that same mindset later on, going, I'm so locked in and I'm so unhappy and I don't want to do this again. The answer is you got to move. You got to disconnect from the business. And by the way, and you said compressed time. That's what I coach on. I coach on compressing time and being absolutely intentional every single day on doing one thing that moves the needle in your business. And this is exactly what you're doing. Being intentional about doing one thing every single day that moves your body so that you can be healthy and thereby your business be healthy too.
Yes. I- you took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
There's no more explaining it. That's just what it is right there.
I mean, preach to me, Jen, right? I know. I
Talk
mean,
to me.
this is really what it is. Okay, so give us some ideas on what to do. I know you said, okay, do jumping jacks, do whatever. But what
Yes.
do you do in your business as you're helping others in their business to put this into play? Because I'm imagine, and maybe you can move this into the business aspect too, is like when you're starting out in you're you're starting out brand new, or you're introducing a new 7 minutes. Okay. You're
Okay.
testing it, right? This
Right.
is what we do in business. We test it, we give it a shot, we test it, we try to find different ways to work on it. So, what are some things you said, okay, get up and do some jumping jacks, but someone go, I don't know if I like that.
Right.
So do
Uh,
you customize the 7 minutes for everybody, or you just say, hey, go figure it out, just move around for 7 minutes? Tell us what you do in your program.
yes. It's a few, actually 3 different things that I do in my program. I actually have a program that's already set, ready to go for those people who just want to get moving with some simple movements.
Yeah.
Now, if you want some serious, like customized, I wanted to focus on me specific, where it's coming down to injuries, certain details where I
Yeah.
seriously get down and break that down in a 12-week program for that. And then
Okay.
if it's just about accountability, you want me to help you keep you accountable, I
I don't
have
want
that
you
as
calling
well
me
too. Where
every day.
I, I'm not gonna call you. You may get a text message, but I'm not gonna call you because I'm just like this. Now you will get a weekly check-in
Yeah,
from
yeah,
me as well, but during the week, you're gonna get nice text messages, just give you friendly reminders of what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, I'm like this. You're gonna make the choice to do it or not. Because if you
yeah.
need
You
that
said
little push, you need me to send you a text message. I have no problem sending you a text. Now, if you want me to call you, I can call you. However, you already know that's a different price tier if I'm
right,
calling you
of
every day
course.
because
Right.
you know.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
besides that, it's literally I'm trying to. My goal is to not have you having me there as band. I
yeah.
want to give you that little push
A
where
habit.
you're automatically doing making it a habit on your own,
Yeah,
where that
yeah.
transformation is not okay. I'm depending on Tony to send that text message, baby. Nope. You I'm just gonna go ahead and do it before I even send the text message. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So that's where I try to
Yeah.
get them to click that
So
over,
that's what you
especially
do. Yeah, that's what you do in the, the getting started kind of thing is, do this thing for a minute, do this thing for a minute, and I'll try this thing. How do
right.
you compare to Better Me, Body something? How do you compare to some of the apps and stuff that are out there? What makes working with you so unique and different from someone who's listening and going, okay, I got the message. I know I need to move. I don't want my business to be unhealthy. So I've got to make sure I'm healthy, right? Because I'm going to make that, for me, that's a connection, right? Like a
Right.
total connection. Like if I want my business to grow, I better go do something, right?
Right.
But why would we want to work with you as opposed to, and this is not a contentious, I'm just asking,
Mm-hmm.
what makes Tony so unique? I mean, we know Tony's unique, but what makes your program so much more better than going to an app that could just send me notifications?
Well, we over here we actually care and we're actually paying attention. So we have an app too over here as well that we have. However, though, I'm intentional on getting feedback
Yeah,
because everybody's different. So
yeah,
every week I'm like, so how did this week go for you? What can we it just all depends. If I have it customized for you, what is it this week? Like, is there something we can switch? Did you not like this exercise? Was it too hard on the knees? Like, is I'm always trying to not try to, I do my best to always elevate for my
yeah,
clients to get
yeah,
them better. Because at the end of the day, I want them to understand like I can
yeah,
send you a program all day, you know what I'm saying? But I want you to really understand that we really want to help you and have a healthier lifestyle because at the end of the day, if you want to live whatever goals you want to reach, because that's another, it all comes together. Your goals, even on the business side, it all comes together as one because we want to help you reach your goals. And I know for a fact it'll help you reach your goals even more if you're especially moving and doing what you need to do with your body. I know that
yeah.
for a fact.
I love yeah, I love that.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that because that's important for someone who's listening. So the last thing that we want to talk about or a little bit about, I may have more questions. I don't know. I'm so curious about
That's all
everything.
right.
So,
Come on. I'm here.
so
I love it. I
yeah,
appreciate
yeah. So let's talk about the business traveler. Both you and I kind of, we play in this same environment, of going to conferences, speaking at conferences, retreats, workshops, getting awards. We're flying everywhere. I'm on an
it.
airplane so much. And, as soon as I'm off that airplane, I just start, for me, and maybe this is you as you're listening, right? Is maybe this is you get better and now you're traveling again and then you're sick again and then you get better and then you travel again and then you're sick again, and this has been habitual for me where I cannot get ahead of this unless I just
Mm,
stop travel,
mm,
just stop it altogether, right?
right.
And I can't do that because my business requires it. So
Right.
tell us about, even if someone's traveling locally, we're all getting back out and doing some local networking, here and there. And I even see with my husband, he never takes a snack with him. He never pre-plans. And so he
Mm,
either comes home and he's starving and he has to eat everything he sees, or he's shaky, or he's in a bad mood, or right, he's decided to stop at McDonald's or this place or that place or that place. And I don't do those places. So, but is it about pre-planning? Is it looking at your day and saying, hey, these are the places I want to be and I want to stay on track? what happens when you're traveling and there's no bananas in their thing and you can't get banana? I mean, my backpack is so heavy with food that I bring. Right? By the time I'm done, it's good, right? It's good. But what can I be doing from a nutrition perspective? And then secondarily, what can you do when you're sitting on those crazy long 4-hour flights? They're usually 2.5 to 4 hours for me. And I'm just moving my ankles around. It's still not helping.
Right.
What can we do?
Uh, Man, that's
I
a
know it's
well,
loaded.
you're asking some great questions. I tell you that. Once again, I go back to the person because I will have to talk to them a little bit more of what's happening in this cycle where once you travel and you say
Yeah.
you said you're getting sick. So I have to know pretty much everything of what you're doing because I can't just base it off, okay, she's traveling. Like it could
Right. We
be,
all have
oh,
DNA. Right.
right. It could be some other issues that you may be having that I don't know about where
Yeah.
that could be it or could pertain to that. But I say basically just for the basics, and especially if you know you're getting ready to travel, because usually the entrepreneur knows maybe about a couple of months, maybe a month ahead of time if they are speaking or on a
Yeah.
panel or whatever. You usually know about a couple of months ahead of time. I highly recommend. I know when I go on the planes, what I haven't had no issues yet, where I take little small enough snacks that are can put in my book bag that I carry through, and nobody's never told me, "Hey, you need to take these little snacks out."
Oh,
Of
no,
course,
you don't have
I
to. I do. I
yep,
take them all. That's why my backpack's so big. It has bananas and clementines and power bars and
yes.
peanuts and
So I,
peanuts
so I,
they don't like. You got to pull the peanuts out.
yes. So it just depends, and like I said, and I think how big it is too, because I
Yeah.
usually have little small packages, and I haven't nobody has never stopped me of doing
Yeah.
that. So,
No, not at
um,
all.
so I'll say little things like that. The airport, I mean, it's very expensive
Right.
and especially when it comes to the healthy snacks. I
Yeah.
mean,
And
if
then
you
it's going to be expensive when you eat the non-healthy snacks and have to go to the doctor. So
so either way though, that's why I'm like, listen, do you
that's
want
why.
to go ahead and take it on this side or take it on the other side?
That's
So
right.
I just be like, I'm gonna just
That's
take it
right.
on this side and just charge me the $7 or $8 for this little thing.
Yeah.
However, I'd rather be eating this and I have a better
Yeah.
chance with this instead of me going, like you say, me going to McDonald's.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No doubt.
it's just the little switch of
Okay.
what I can
Got
do,
it.
just making better
Yeah.
decisions.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's the nutrition part. So let's talk about the travel part. When someone's traveling on airplanes, and I mean, I love those days because I get all the steps in, and I'm like, look at me, I'm stepping a lot. And
Yeah.
then I look at what I did the day before, and I had 170 steps. Which, by the way, I probably had more, but it's not like I'm walking around my house with my phone on,
With the
right?
phone. Right,
Right.
right.
But it literally shows 170 steps. And then the
Mm-hmm.
next day I'm at 8,000 because I'm walking through the airport and I'm like, yes, I love this. And so, when I have a layover, I don't go sit like other people do and go, oh, let me work some more. And
Mm.
again, this is what I coach on, right? About not doing that kind of stuff. So I walk through the
Right.
airport. I just walk, 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 walk. But what do you do on the plane? What is the best thing? Because I haven't found a single thing.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I mean the plane is real tight. So I mean, unless you're on one of those big ones where you can actually stand off and go into a corner where
Yeah.
there's big enough planes where you can go and do that, I would highly suggest that. But being in those tight aisles, it's pretty tough. If anything, just get up to stand, do a little side stretching here and
Yeah.
there. Like if you go to the restroom to the back, try
Yeah.
to find a little space back there. But I'm always doing some type of movement. I'm always here or whatever the
Yeah.
case may be,
Stretching.
where I'm just stretching and
Yeah.
pulling behind with the legs. So just little small movements will still be able to help you, especially if you're on those long trips.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. All right.
mhm.
So I want to ask you a question, another question, a health question, and I'm going to ask you a business question.
Okay.
Um, and that is, what is your take on intermittent, what is it called? Intermittent fasting?
Intermittent fasting.
Because listen,
Um,
I get in front of my computer and I'm a happy camper. And I have right now, in fact, right now, this is so sad because I just finished a glass of water. I have no
yes.
water. I have no
Mm,
food right now. Now, normally I have a big thing of water and I'm sucking down water. But
yes.
I said to my husband, he goes, you got to eat, you got to eat. And I go, no, I'm intermittent fasting. That's what I'm doing. Right. Which I think is a joke. I mean, it doesn't work for me, but I want to know what your take is on intermittent fasting versus having little snacks all day long. Because you said you had these little snacks. Is it two to
Yes.
3 hours, or is it, yeah, intermittent fast and then eat? What do we do?
Yes. Well, once again, it
DNA.
depends on you and your
Yep. DNA.
body because I know with me, I can do the snacks, but at the same time, I can do the intermittent fasting to the point if I want to do a detox, I can intermittent fast with no problem. I can go throughout the day as long as I got some water or whatever the case may be. Because by the time, and especially with entrepreneurs, a lot of us don't eat no way
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like after, and then when you do eat, you scarf because you're in between meetings, and
in
that's not
between
good.
meats.
Right.
Right. So that's where the small snacks come into
Yeah.
play as well. However, it all stems back. What's your business? What you're doing? And in between those times, should you be intermittent fasting? Should you not be? It it just all entails on what's going on with you. So that's why I never put an exact thing on a person because
Yeah.
I don't know what you got going on over there. Your schedule's not like my schedule. Every day is
Yep.
different. That's why I tell people what I did last week is not going to be the same as this week. I may have a plan of I might want it to happen this way. However, and especially when it comes to the physical fitness, I'm like, all right, I want 30 minutes. It may not happen the same day on Wednesday. I may only get 10 minutes of
Yeah.
me trying
Yeah.
to do something for that day. So it
Yeah.
just depends on that day.
Yep. Okay. So I brought you down this path so I can ask this question.
All right. Come on. I'm ready.
I brought you down this path. As you're trying to figure this out physically, for yourself, like what works, intermittent fasting, this one works, that one's works, this one. What are some of the challenges you've had in your business as you started developing your business to share with people that are just starting out? Or maybe someone who feels like they're really ingrained and they want to do a reset button or a reshift, and say, hey, I want to do something different in my business. What are some of the challenges you encountered as you were laying out your program? Did you have a mentor? Did you not have a mentor? Did you think you could do it on your own? Did you think, that you didn't need it? Did you hire people to fill the gaps? Tell us a little bit about some of your lessons in business.
Well, another great question because I'm telling you, if I hadn't played football, uh, I'll probably be more of, I guess, how you say, more of an entrepreneur per se, because I just started this entrepreneur thing
Yeah.
like 10 years ago. Because once after I was playing football, I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Because my dad, and I took this to heart. My dad literally said, "Son, enjoy being a kid while you can, because once you're an adult for the rest of your life."
Right.
I was
Yeah.
like, but you didn't make that sound too exciting. I was like, man, well, let me go be a kid. Cause he was like, man,
Right.
cause I'm just a little kid. I'm trying to get me a little job, maybe a little money. I worked at the skating rink. So I'm like, oh yeah,
Right.
I'm thinking I'm doing something. And he's like, listen, this is all fun. But now when you get older, that's it. I was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
well, okay, well, let me go ahead. Let me take this football. Let me roll with this. And then from there, I'll figure out what my next step is. So that right there, that was a challenge alone. I did not have no coach or that entrepreneur mindset. Okay, I want to take this route. I just actually fell into it because of one, and this goes back to like I can do a whole nother podcast with you just pertaining just to the life of some of the things of health wise and why I do this. So
Yeah.
when I started playing professionally after I graduated from college, I was actually diagnosed with high blood pressure,
Oh, geez.
and I had to take two forms of medication.
And that's adversity, not diversity, adversity. There's some more, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so literally when I came, because when this happened when I came home from
Yeah.
school, I went to the doctor, go get my physical. I'm feeling good, boom, boom, this and that. He's like, oh yeah, you got high blood pressure. Didn't ask me no questions. He didn't, because I was way bigger than this now. Now remember, I'm football. Like this a whole different body. So you can tell I'm involved in something. And he did not ask me not one thing. He didn't even try to let me see
Wow.
what's going on with this young guy because I was 22.
Right. Right.
I
Well, he knew
had
you
no
had to figure some things out.
yet, but the crazy part is I had no issues in college. Like I was perfectly healthy, no high blood pressure, none of this stuff. And then as soon as I get over here, now mind you, I wasn't doing all of what I was doing 7 days out of the week, but I was still doing the necessary things because I was still playing football. But for him to say, it hit me hard, and mentally it messed me up. Okay. Because one, now I got my mom in my other ear talking about, oh, if I don't take these pills, I'm gonna die and all this stuff. And I'm just like, what? I'm still playing football.
Yeah.
So me trying to pop a pill before a game and all this stuff, like it just didn't sit right with me. However, though, mom's gonna eventually hear this because this is just what it was. I literally will pop a pill every now and then, so I wouldn't lie to my mother saying I wasn't taking pills.
Right. Are you taking them? Uh-huh. I'm
intermittent. Yeah, I'm taking them.
Intermittently.
It just never could piece together. I never could put two and two together. I'm like, what am I doing? So I always was like, okay, what do I need to do? What I need to do? And so my sister was just like, listen, man, you want to be off these pills? I was like, I need to get off these things. It's like, all right, well, we need to start doing these necessary things right now. Off top, what I stopped doing, putting extra salt on my food.
Yeah.
That was a major for me. When I stopped doing that, a whole lot of things just changed. So that's why I just say little simple things of 9 times out of 10, people know what is messing them up. They're choosing not to stop it.
Yeah. Well, like scrolling on Facebook all the time, going through all your emails all the time and wondering why your business is not getting ahead, and it's really about tracking and measuring. And I'm sure that's what you do too, right? It's like measuring the weight.
And I'm getting better at it. See, that's another thing that and that's why I implement like with the physical, with the business, because see, with me, I'm more on the physical where I had it going over here. And just like with some who on this other side who's focused on here, they have it going over here. Now it's trying to get some of this to go over here. I'm the same way. And that's why I talk to people where I talk to, because I am literally talking to myself when it comes to the business side, because I'm like, I need to bring this over here. Because
the mindset over there. Yeah. For someone watching, I'm making sure they know where they're going.
I don't write the numbers down every day. I don't like certain things where you got to do this, and I'm just looking overwhelmed because I'm just like, I got to do all this by myself to make sure that I'm doing this. And I know I got to do it. But at the same time, it's just like how people want to, I want to go work out, but I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do this and fix this. And so I'm the same way.
Right? It's the same thing. Yeah. Okay. So the 7 minutes a day, it's the whole day. That's what you're suggesting. It's just 7 minutes a day. It's not 7 minutes every hour, not 7 minutes in the morning and in the the afternoon. It's just make sure that you're moving for 7 minutes and get into that habit. And, if it's anything, I mean, I used to be a long distance runner. I don't run at all anymore. Anybody or anything. Maybe one of my grandkids, right? If something was wrong, I'd run. But because I can actually dance across a room faster than I can run across a room. So that's probably why I do that. But
see, that's a physical activity though. See, that dancing is something else.
Totally. It is. But in that 7 minutes that someone's moving, and now I lost my train of thought on what I was going to ask you about it too. So maybe you have a comment to say. I'll just leave it with you.
Okay, no worries. Just like you said with the 7 minutes and there's 7 minutes of dancing. See, I taught Zumba for 7 years. Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's where your energy comes from. I remember those Zumba. I might have taken.
Listen, and the Zumba I did, it was the certain parts where the little girly parts where you're moving all that hip gyration and doing all that stuff. See, I wasn't doing that. I was adding exercise. Like we may be doing lunges. Or something where I'm like, go ahead, shake your hips, but shake your hips while you're doing these lunges. Okay. Because that's how my Zumba. So dancing was pivotal in my life because we love to dance back at home. Okay. So
I do ballroom dancing. So you can imagine the strides that I take.
Oh, yes.
Right. So I'm doing lunges. I'm running. I'm running and doing.
There's so many little muscles that you're working in your body that you don't realize. That's why I tell people, man, these big muscles that you see, just imagine what you got to do to build that muscle up. Guess what? There's little muscles inside that muscle that needs to be built up.
Right. And that's what I was going to say with running. Yeah. Is like, once you start doing something for 7 minutes a day, pretty soon you're going to go, this is kind of stupid. I could do this for 14 because I know when I was running as a long distance runner, you start walking and then you're like, the walking's kind of going slow. Maybe I could just like do that fast walking thing. And then maybe I could just jog a little bit. And then maybe I could run. And then maybe I could do run, jog, walk, one jog. And I think that's what you're doing here, is that you're bringing people in for 7 minutes, but they're going to learn that they can do 70 minutes.
Yes, and build that momentum, because that's all that is. It's just getting that momentum going. Because honestly, that's why I tell people, usually when you do the 7 minutes, now, mind you, if you haven't done nothing, you're going to stop at the 7 minutes after you really try.
Oh, that was awful.
You're going to be, you're going to feel some type of way. Like, there's no question you're going to feel some type, because you're going to be like, man, I used to do this. I do flips, run around the block and do all this other stuff. But things have changed. Life has changed. And that's why I have to tell people in their mind, it's okay where you are now, because you already know that you need to do something.
Right. It's
now
like
we just need
no one can do your sit-up. I mean, your push-ups, right? You got to do one. And that first one's a nightmare. And then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, I got 2 or 3, and then I got 10, and then it's easy, right? And it's everything. Right. This is the same thing in business, is dedicating that 7 minutes that you're talking about, Tony, to, refresh your physical body, but it also refreshes your mind, so you can come back at your business and go, you know what? I actually want to take a power nap for 20 minutes. Imagine what I can do with my business when I come back from that.
Dang, listen, them naps are powerful too, man. Let me tell you, I'm a napper, okay? I'll take that 15 minutes quick, but I'll wake right back up and let's go. Yes.
Right. That's exactly what it is. That's great. Okay, what do you want to leave people with?
What do I want to leave?
First of all, you have a freebie. We'll put the link in. We'll put the link in so you can get it. It's a free 15-minute clarity call. Someone wants to have a conversation with you. Your energy is fantastic. That obviously comes from the fitness. So I know there are people that are like, we need to have him in my company so that we can all work for 7 minutes, where he's going to do a 7-minute thing with us. He's going to talk about mindset. He's going to talk about the physical part in our lives and how we can do better to eat better. But then he's also going to do a 7-minute thing with us, and we're all going to learn how to do it every single day once he leaves. But, come in, bring Tony in and have him talk to your team. So what do you want to leave us with?
I just want to leave everybody with, just do something. Don't do anything. Like, I just, it just makes me cringe when I hear people be like, oh, I know what to do. I just, but you're this awesome, glorious entrepreneur who's doing so much for everybody. And I'm just like, but what are you really happy where you are? And especially with your body, because for you, because I like I said, I'd be amazed by some people and how they're moving and what they're doing. And I just say, imagine if you just did 7 minutes of some type of physical movement added onto what you're doing, you'll be in a whole different realm compared to where you are now. So I'm like, just imagine if you was doing something compared to what you're not doing. I'm like, you're not doing nothing and you're doing great right now. So just imagine if you added this piece to it. So I just say, just do some type of movement. I don't care what it is. Any type of movement is great movement. Period.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your energy. Thank you so much for the inspiration to do something for 7 minutes. And heck, you guys, on your cell phone, all you have to do is set it every single day to do 7 minutes. It's an alarm that says 7 minutes. 7 minutes. And if you want to do it more frequently and set more alarms and have it set for every single day to do 7 minutes of something. And look, I can't wait for this, because my husband and I like doing things together, and I'm going to set this so that we do 7 minutes of something together.
Okay.
Because when you're talking with someone and you're doing the 7 minutes of things, all of a sudden it's like, what was that 7 minutes? Wait. It felt like 2.
Right. Right. So do this, and guess what? I'm gonna make it even more simpler for you.
Okay.
When you do that, just focus on one exercise. Do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, 7 minutes.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm gonna march. I mean, that's how easy it is. I can just march and talk to him about all my clients that day.
And guess what? Hey, guess what? Don't stop. Just go straight through. Go straight through the 7. See how long you can go. Just march and talking to him. See, because guess what? That's just gonna build up your stamina and endurance for you to be on stage anyway.
That's right. That's right. So I'm not tired on stage. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate it. Thanks for your insight on business and how we can marry that with our mindset. Absolutely love it. Go check out Tony Check out everything that we have. We'll have all of his links below. We'll have information so you can get a 15-minute clarity call and, go and do it. Go take 7 minutes right now. If you're in your car and you're driving, as soon as you get someplace, walk around the parking lot for 7 minutes. Just do something, right? Like you said. And if you're going shopping, don't shop. Push the thing through for 7 minutes and then shop.
There you go. See? You got it. You got it.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you. It's a privilege. Thank you. Peace.
Of course. And we'll see you on the next episode. Be sure to jump over to YouTube and subscribe so that you can see this and other interviews that I have, and especially with all 3 of my podcasts. For those of you that don't know, I have 3 podcasts, so you want to go over there and check out all of them. We talk to different people for different things all the time. Lots and lots of learning. So thank you again for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you for joining us on Business on the Vine. If you found value in today's conversation and would like additional support, go to supportfromjen.com. Remember, the best ideas are always discovered on the vine. So keep innovating, stay inspired, and continue to grow.